What is up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Abbott to my Costello. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Now, did I get it right? Costello's the fat one, and Abbott's the skinny one.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I
So I
I
had to.
assumed that both were funny and just extremely handsome.
No, I think they're both awkward looking, and one was fat and one was skinny.
Man, that honestly that nails high school us to a T, right?
Pretty much.
How was your week, man?
Oh, not too bad. I went to, a little wedding shindig, and that was the highlight of the weekend. What about you, man? You do anything fun?
Well, yeah, I got married.
Oh, shoot. I wasn't invited apparently.
No, it was great. Perfect day, perfect company. Very, very happy. And
Is
there
it
you go. There's the proof, ladies and gentlemen.
is it still happy? Is it still like two thumbs up, or you're like, it's going downhill quick, guys?
since Friday.
Yeah. It's been rough.
No, everything's great.
Okay, good.
My goodness. I'll say this though, Casey and I got to hang out a little bit, and we played Virtual on Sega Saturn that we talked about a couple episodes back. It was super fun. I really enjoyed it. We almost beat it. We just couldn't beat the final boss.
Yeah, it's mostly because it's time. Like there was a few times where like I was so close, but then time ran out and it's like, well, you failed. And it's like, well, shoot.
It's a great game though. I would love to play that in VR. I think that'd be crazy
Yeah.
fun.
I think like I would love to try out one of the old big Sega cabinets that they had for it, because it's like it is like just looks like a mecha, one of the big full body cover ones, and you have the handles and stuff. Yeah.
So did it have like the three screens, like the two side ones as
I
well?
don't think so, because I think it's made for two people. So like you and me could fight
Ah,
each other sitting by each other. So
right.
I don't think it does. I never actually got to play it. I've just seen the cabinets sell, basically. Like I've seen a picture of one sell, and I've seen one on eBay. So,
Well,
but
never say never.
yeah, I will say this. From what I remember, that game does hold up. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and having never played it, I would say it holds up because I had fun.
Yeah. And I'm gonna stand by it too. The Saturn one's better than the Dreamcast one. The Dreamcast one's fun and it's got better graphics, but they tried to like do too much with it, when it's like all you really need to do is just add more robots. You didn't
Right.
have to do, like they tried to do newer stuff and everything, and it doesn't work as well.
All right, there you go. Join us for our new side project, the Virtual Oncast.
Yeah, man, that would be the best 12 minutes of my life. Next time we play, we'll Twitch stream Two Worlds Twitch cast.
Yep, that is for sure going to happen because we were laughing quite hard while playing the game. So we think you guys might get a kick out of it too. But anyway, now that we got that little announcement out of the way, we can go about with the news. This is rumor week, man.
Yeah, this is a big old trip to the rumor mill, I think, for us.
And you've got several more than me, so I'll let you do your thing.
Okay, so reportedly, Michael B. Jordan's Black Superman produced movie is no longer in development with HBO Max. Where I read that, it didn't specify if they're going to be trying to move it up to a theater, type thing, or if it's just being scrapped altogether. I could see it actually going to theaters versus just staying on HBO Max, because
Didn't
Michael B.
they say that they wanted to focus more on theater
Yeah,
releases?
that's why I'm thinking that. And with Michael B. Jordan's name on it, it makes me think it's more likely to be, instead of just being scrapped like Batgirl, it's going to be put out for the masses that way.
Yeah. Well, Let's see. So Green Lantern is supposedly in pre-production and will begin filming in September. I don't really have a source on that. It was just a rumor that I saw this week, but
Y-
I
Yeah,
saw it
and
pop up a few times. That makes me think there might be something to it.
yeah, and I also saw, speaking of the Green Lantern show, like that's one of the things that Warner Brothers Discovery is keeping safe too. So you don't have to worry about that being you know gone, which is like I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not looking forward to that show, but
I
who knows?
my biggest concern is going to be the budget.
I
Like, are
mean,
they going like Green Lantern needs to have a big budget?
like budget, the fact that they're using Guy Gardner as like the main lantern, and then J.J. Abrams. Those are like my concerns.
Yeah, well, JJ is a fair one. I like me some Guy Gardner, as you know. So I'm hopeful there because they're either going to do it right and people will understand why Guy is the way he is, or they're just going to make him such a douche and like not nail it. You know what I mean?
There could be a third option as to what I think it's going to be. It's not going to be anything like Guy Gardner. It's just going to be Guy Gardner in name, and then like, we can do what we want.
Well, I mean that's what they do with the Flash essentially. So
Yeah. Okay, so Titans and Doom Patrol are expected to get canceled. I'm not too surprised about Doom Patrol. I figured Titans wouldn't, but just from what I was reading, it sounds like their ratings never, it was never a ratings buster, kind of had like a cult following. So I guess it's not that surprising.
that's too bad. Both are wonderful. I
Yeah,
need to I need to watch Doom Patrol still, but
the last season of Doom Patrol I wasn't super hot on. So, it's not
did it
not
have
the
an like without giving anything away, did it at least have like a nice ending or
honestly, I'm it was like I was pretty checked out with it because I was not into this season, so I couldn't tell you. I don't really
okay.
remember because it's been a while since I watched it.
Okay. Have you heard all the stuff about the C2E2 Black Flag acetate covers?
I did not like when I saw that in the notes. I'm like, what does this mean? I'm excited.
Okay. So there's a company called Black Flag, and they essentially made their own acetate covers for various comics, but they weren't supposed to. Like they weren't sanctioned. And these things sold out within like the first hour of C2E2 and are selling for crazy money. And Marvel was like, we didn't okay this. And so Black Flag, like before all that, was like, oh, thanks for making this a great, thing selling out. We'll have another big surprise for New York or whatever. Um, and they showed like some pictures later on. I think it was for Ghostrider or Punisher, one of the two. So who knows what's going to happen there? I think it's kind of hilarious that they just thought they'd make these on their own and then they sold out.
Yeah, that is really funny. I like that Marvel's getting mad about it too, where it's like, well, I mean, I would be more upset for you, Marvel, if you paid your creators out, when you release the movies instead
I
of
know,
just trying to
right?
screw them over. Like, hey, I don't like this.
But I
This
bet they
is,
dump money into making this go away.
yeah, right. Okay, so reportedly all the James Gunn projects and Blue Beetle are still moving forward along. And as of right now, Black Canary is still in development at HBO Max. There is a good chance once the script's finished and they see it, they go, ooh, no, thank you. But as of right now, it's still in the works. And same thing with Blue Beetle. That's the whole thing with like Batgirl, I guess, like since it got finished, they could see it and they could go, we don't want to put more money in this, we're done, that type of thing. We'll take it as a tax write off, and Blue Beetle may end up being the same way. We don't, it's like as soon as it's finished, we'll know more if it's going to stay or not.
That's got to be a terrible feeling to keep working on it just to
Right?
think this could not happen.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure we like mentioned it whenever it was announced, but I don't remember the Black Canary thing.
So it's just Black Canary from Birds of Prey. She's getting her own movie. It's the person because like the writer then was talking about like all the different people that might be in it. Like she was like leaving hints, like Green Arrow could be in it, like just through emojis. I remember Shiva, um, Richard Dragon, and a few other people that were like, hinted at via emojis were going to be in the movie. And it's like, it could be cool. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of her in Birds of Prey, but I also could not get into that movie. So,
I mean, I don't acknowledge that that's a good movie, but I didn't dislike that movie. I hope that for the Richard Dragon emojis, it was just an eggplant and then the dragon.
I think it was just a dragon. But
Ah,
I have a funny story about that movie that I have to tell off the pod because it's not appropriate.
okay, cool.
So
I'm
after
looking
after we're
forward to
done,
that.
I'll let you hear it.
I mean, honestly, hearing about, Richard Dragon and Shiva and Green Arrow, like that could be great, but I want it to be written by Judd Winnick and them to have unlimited money to make it cool.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is like it's gonna be weird casting, even though I don't think he's like the perfect Green Arrow by any means, but it's gonna be weird casting as someone other than Stephen Amell to be Green Arrow because he loves that character so much now. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like he'll be waiting outside the studio ready to fight somebody, whoever gets the role.
Plus, he's still in tip-top shape because he's doing that wrestling show Heels on
Yeah.
Stars.
That almost sounded like an ad for it, like they were our sponsor. Like Heels
Come
on
on,
Stars
Stars.
every Saturday at 8 o'clock or streaming now.
Look, that one's for free, Stars, but just hit us up, all right?
At least give us a free subscription.
Yeah, come on. We're desperate.
Yeah, I want to watch Heels.
Oh man. Okay. So Marvel is going to be doing a Murder World miniseries this November. Um, I guess Marvel was like, "Oh yeah, Arcade's a thing that we own." So they're going to be giving us a Murder World mini. Jim Zub and Ray Fox are writing it. Haven't heard Ray Fox's name in quite some
Yeah.
time. So the thing is like with those two writers, I have no doubt that it's probably going to be good.
Hmm.
I just don't think it's going to sell that well personally.
No, what really sucks with Arcade, like, so years ago, probably, like it feels like it wasn't that long ago, but I know it was. It's probably 2013, 2012. They had Avengers Arena and they did Avengers Undercover, and like that built Arcade up to be like this, like, just awesome villain. And then, like, by the end of Avengers Undercover, he was a loser again. It was like, what was the point?
If I
What
remember right, didn't you really like Undercover?
I so it's weird. Like I didn't read Arena, sadly. I wish I would have because like they had the kid from Sentinel in it, which I loved Sentinel, and they killed him off. But the I read Undercover and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And it started off so awesome, and then it just slowly went to crap to the point where like characters just being written however they wanted to be written. Like it's like, oh, Madame Mask is shopping and acting like a bimbo. Like that's not Madame Mask at all. But okay, Son of Satan's a villain? Question mark. Why is he a bad guy? It's stuff like that where it's just like none of it really made sense that they were acting the way they were acting, and then he just kind of makes Arcade into a loser after making Arcade a pretty sweet villain in the time before. So it was kind of lame that
That's a
way.
shame. Because
Yeah.
I'll say like at that point in time, I wasn't reading like any Avengers stuff, but I always thought that those covers were cool because I think a lot of them involved Zemo, right?
Yeah, they were super cool covers for Undercover, and then even the one where it was like Avengers Island or whatever had cool covers. And that's kind of what brought me in. But like, I don't want to start something from the beginning. And I was like, I'll start this new one. And it was just kind of a
Then
letdown.
it sucked.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how Murder World goes. As I ask with all of these, is that one that you'll check out?
I might. I mean that creative team sounds pretty sweet. So it's hard to be like, oh, and if they do a cool arcade. So,
Yeah.
you know. Okay, you want to get to our Ezra news 2022?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it.
Okay, so reportedly WB is considering three options for the Flash. Ezra giving an interview explaining their crazy actions and then doing limited press. Ezra plays no part in the film's promotion, or they completely scrape the film or scrap the film. And then you had a little bit of news about Ezra too.
Yeah, I saw that Ezra did some reshoots for The Flash while evading authorities. Um, I don't understand how this is still happening, man. I really
So
don't.
so there's some talks about the whole like evading authorities things. There's like people that say that actually is happening. Other people are saying it's not. He's actually, or they've been very not helpful, but like they've been working with the police the whole time about everything. So it's like you kind of have to like look at, like I've heard both, and it's just like, as always with this type of stuff, the more scandalous thing prevails as far as what's being put out there as facts. But I've heard both sides, both things, that they're running amok and fighting the KKK and the FBI at the same time. Like that's actually a thing that people are saying is happening. And I've also heard, no, they're just hanging out at their place and have been really helpful with the police. So might be somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
Well, no matter what's happening with evading the authorities, uh, they were still an absolute menace in Hawaii. So,
They were. It's What do you think? I think the sit down conversation with like a WB Discovery friendly reporter is like their best option to kind of explain the erratic behavior and you know talk that way. That'd be what I would do.
I mean, I could see that happening if I were, in charge. I would let that happen, but then recast him and do reshoots. Like I don't think they deserve to have a part in this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I still think you don't even need to do like any reshoots.
Well,
Just do
right.
Yeah, you just recast them, and at the very end, just have them go have the person go, "Oh wow, look at this! I look different because I changed the time stream." That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they almost certainly won't do
Yeah, but
that.
there's also talks too. Like if this movie bombs, they're scrapping all of the CC stuff and they're just starting over. That's like one of the prevalent rumors that I've been hearing. We're taking a trip to the rumor mill too early, but that's one of the prevalent rumors I've been reading and hearing online. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
I mean, I don't want that because I like where Batman's at. I like where Wonder Woman's at. I know we're probably not getting any more Henry Cavill Superman, but I would want that to happen.
Well, with Batman, I mean, if you're talking Robert Pattinson Batman or Ben Affleck Batman, so the Pattinson is gonna stay how it is. Like that's just its separate thing. That's Matt Reeves' thing, and it's like that's just going to be basically on a script by script basis. So it's like it hasn't been greenlit yet because he hasn't finished the script for the second one yet, so it's like a ways off anyway, but that's still its own thing. If they reboot everything, that's staying, unless he does like the next script and it's like Batman and Robin, they kiss. It's called Batman in Jailbait. And it's just like, what? This is a terrible idea.
You heard it here first, folks. Batman and Robin jailbait. I know that stuff is its own thing, but I want him into the fold. He's young enough where he can do a few of these, and it'd be cool if he was a part of the league.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way, like I said, again, like all the rumor and insider crap that I've been hearing from stuff I've read online, it just sounds like Matt Reeves doesn't want anything to do with that. Like he said, I guess they've been like there's been talks of then like having him be one of the people, and he's like, if that happens, I'm just done. I don't want to do it.
Right. Um, I mean, I guess that means there's no merit to him being in charge of their whatever, you
Yeah.
know? Um, okay, so let me do my last bit, then we'll really get into your rumor mill.
Yep.
So Star Wars comics, like Marvel Star Wars comics, is getting the Marvel Now treatment. There's gonna be this like big oversized one shot called Star Wars Revelations that is intended to set up a bunch of storylines going forward for Marvel Star Wars comics. Um, I don't think that any of the current stuff is getting axed because the cover shows like it's like a 5-panel cover, and right in the middle is Luke and Leia. Then we've got, you know, Vader, Han and Chewie, the bounty hunters group, and then the Afra group. So I don't know if they're just gonna do like a big story involving all of them again, like my favorite, you know, miniseries of last year and the hit War of the Bounty Hunters. But either way, some big stuff happening over there, and um, oh, I just what's his name? Guggenheim is writing Revelations. So yeah, I guess if you're a Star Wars fan and either are looking to get into the Marvel comics or maybe you think it's gotten a little stale and wish that something different would happen, this would be a good thing for you.
So as someone that's more on the thought it's gotten kind of stale and want something new to happen, Bo, are you excited?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to read anything that comes out, but I just need to wait and see what it is.
Yeah.
If they're like, hey, we're doing a brand new like Rogue Squadron comic, then yeah, I'm totally on board for that. Um, or if the best Jedi ever, Plo Koon, gets his own miniseries, then yeah, I'm all in for that one. But I don't think either one of those things is going to happen. Well, I mean, the Rogue Squadron one could happen if that Patty Jenkins movie ever happens, and I doubt that it will. That's her name, right? Wonder
Yeah.
Woman director. Okay. Um, but yeah, otherwise, it's just a wait and see sort of thing. I would rather here's why I'm so like mad at myself in regards to Marvel Star Wars comics. I've never read any of the Darth Vader ones, and through ever since Marvel got the rights to Star Wars in 2015, that one's always had the highest praise consistently. At no point has anyone said, it's kind of dipping. It's been awesome according to
Yeah.
literally everyone from the get-go, and that's the one I didn't read. So if they relaunch Vader, maybe I'll finally jump into that. But yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
I got you, man. I'm gonna have some Star Wars related questions for during our YouTube break.
Excellent.
So we'll be talking about that. But yeah, I mean, I think it could be exciting as far as the Star Wars stuff, but I probably won't check it out at all unless they just have like the Wookiee Diaries and it's all in Wookiee and it's just Wookiees only. And I'll probably only do that for one issue.
I
Or
mean, is
if they did Jar Jar Binks's dad, like they did a whole comic about him, I would buy that one.
so a non-jokey question: is there any aspect of the Star Wars universe that, if get having gotten a comic, you would read?
So genuinely, I don't really care about most of this stuff because it's like it's all basically prequel shit at this point because everything's we already know that like we already know Luke is gonna live, that type of stuff. So I would be more interested in stuff that happens post the last movies. I mean, you could just do comics about the last movies. I didn't see them, but post the last movies, like having Ray teach Finn how to be like, Jedi or whatever, like any that type of stuff to me would be more interesting because those are new stories where everything else is just kind of rehashing, like, don't worry, they'll live.
Right. I totally get that. And they're since they are doing more High Republic stuff, that's one of those things where obviously because it's 1,000 years before everything, we know that they eventually die. But I
Yeah,
think that that is even more compelling because
yeah,
we just don't know anything about it.
exactly. I mean, because it's like the first time when I was reading the Star Wars book when it was first coming out, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But then it just got to the point where I'm like, we're still in between the two movies. Like, this has been going on longer than it took between the two movies to come out.
Right. Well, anyway, let's hop into the rumor mill.
Yeah, it's rumor mill time. Answering it here. Okay, so rumor number one, and I just want you to kind of be like excited. Do you think it's going to happen? Talk about it that way. Rumor is Marvel is going to cast Jim Carrey as MODOK.
I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening either, but would you be excited about it?
I would be more excited about it than somebody else being cast as Modoc.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
the other rumor that I heard is the guy that they were going to get to be MODOK was actually going to be Yellow Jacket from the first Ant-Man movie. Like when he got super tiny, it would have messed with him, and then AIM brought him back and do it. They were going to do it that way. That's the other prevalent rumor that I've been hearing. But the Jim Carrey one just sounds more juicy, so that's why I brought it to the old mill.
so I mean, why wouldn't they just ask Patton Oswalt to voice him?
Patton Oswalt's too busy killing his wife again. Uh,
Oh,
no, I
wait, did
think
he
it's
kill his wife?
yeah. So basically, what happened was his wife had a pill addiction, and so then he's like, "Hey, honey, you're very stressed out. Here's some pills." And then she took some pills that he handed her, and she already had a bunch of pills in her system, and then she died. But then he didn't get in any actual trouble, even though it's accidental manslaughter. He didn't get any accidental, any trouble for it, and they just kind of swept it on the rug. And then like a year later, he married someone else, which is like very sketchy when you think about it. But then he wants to sit on his high horse and talk a lot of crap about other people. So I always just think about that and laugh.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
I mean, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, it's similar to the Simpsons situation where it's like I used to like the Simpsons and I found out Mike Judge was good friends with Epstein and had an underage girl massage his feet on Epstein's plane. And then I was like, boy, do I not like the Simpsons anymore.
Oh man.
And this is like legit stuff that you can look up. It's not just crazy conspiracy theory stuff, people, I
Right.
swear.
Right.
But
No, I believe you.
next rumor, Greg Berlanti is going to become DC's Kevin Feige, which I could actually see that happening. I'm not sure how I feel about it because he did do all the Arrowverse stuff and kind of brought that stuff all in.
Well,
And
let
I
me
think
tell you how I feel about it, Casey. I
let's hear.
hate it.
See, I mean, I figured you would, but the difference is like he is kind of heading up. If I remember right, he's like one of the producers on the Green Lantern show, along with J.J. Abrams and some other like show stuff. And it's like just because he did the Arrowverse stuff for the CW, which is like CWing it up, I could see him still being like, because this is also when that CW stuff happened, it was still kind of in the early days of superheroes being like acceptable, So like he was having to do the old tropes, and then he kind of got more superhero-y with it. But since now it's like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, basically. I could easily see him doing, very comic book accurate stuff. So I mean, like I could see it working really well with him now because it's like you're not going to do a Green Arrow show if you're not a fan of comic books. Like there's no one out there that's just like, yeah, I think a Green Arrow show is the one that's going to take off. That doesn't know anything about comics. So that's my whole thought on it. Like I think it could work.
No, I was only half kidding
Yeah,
because they made it very clear that they wanted to do a Batman show. I mean, most of the villains are Batman villains.
yeah,
And you can just tell that's what they wanted to do, but instead they got Green Arrow, which is fine because I think for 2, maybe 3 seasons, it was a pretty good show. Um, really, all it comes down to is that the network they were on was CW, which is a very teen drama centered, network, and
Yeah,
that's what all of them had to be. So if that guy who is clearly a fan of DC Comics gets to actually play in that sandbox with the characters he wants and the money that he needs, then it could be good.
I agree. And it couldn't be any worse than, Jeff Johns heading it up.
Agreed.
Okay, so this is the rumor that we're both the most excited about. Madam Web, our favorite movie that's not released yet, is going to be Terminator like, where we follow Madam Web, Spider Girl variants, and Ben Parker, played by old Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec, as they try to keep an unborn Peter Parker alive.
Wow. Like, I'll say this. That sounds way more crazy than I thought the movie was gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think it'd be hilarious if like the whole time we're crapping on this movie, we see it and we're like, it was amazing.
It wasn't. I mean, I've already used my Madam Web powers and saw into the future, and it is amazing.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I, I'm I am curious. So if this is like if that's the legit thing, what is the thing going back in time to kill baby or unborn Pete?
which villain do you think is most likely?
I don't know. I mean, like maybe it's this oh, I'm blanking on their name. In the Spider, did you read any of the Spider-Verse comics?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Well, there's like these weird old dude guys that are like all over the universe that like try to kill Peter Parker. Could be them. That'd be my only guess, but I really don't know.
I mean, that
But
seems most likely for a movie, right?
yeah. I mean, but with this being like Sony, they very well could just be like, no, it's just a Terminator, but we're calling it a Spider Terminator.
Like, well, I don't know. Could they use the Spider Slayer?
Yeah, they could just do that. They could just be like, yeah, it's just a Spider Slayer from the future by paid for by J. Jonah Jameson. It's like kill the baby. Okay, so rumor is Kevin Feige is eyeing Anna Diop for Storm. For those that don't know, Anna Diop plays Starfire in Titans. I've not seen Titans, but just by the looks, I think she'd be a good Storm. What do you think as a Titans watcher?
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty great, honestly. She's a likable character in that show. I don't see why that wouldn't carry over to Storm. And I know that Storm is pretty high up there on your pretty comic book ladies list, so I think she fits that bill.
Yeah, and then but it's also like so did Halle Berry, but Anna D like the difference is Anna Diop is like darker skinned and she's taller, where Halle Berry was short and lighter skinned. And even though Halle Berry was like the first woman that I ever, made me go like, oh, women are a thing. I like them because the Flintstones and and but like Anna Diop, she looks more like Storm than Halle Berry ever does. So yeah, I'm all about it.
That is honestly so hilarious.
Yeah, no, dude, like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had their sexual awakening to the Flintstones movie, but still,
Well, we just found the title for the episode. Oh man, that is so funny.
Okay, so last rumor.
Hold on,
So
hold on, hold on. I'm not
okay.
done yet. Because speaking of Halle Berry's Storm, she has what I think is probably the worst
I know what
line
you're
of
gonna say.
dialogue in those X-Men movies. And
Yep.
what is it, Casey?
It's, you know what happens when a toad gets struck by lightning? Same
What?
thing as everything else. It just strike. It's just like, oh, okay.
It's so much buildup for the flattest delivery of all time.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And speaking of those X-Men movies, there's a picture that's online of, so there's like a picture online of the cast from that, and you've probably seen it, but it's like they're all like at a party together, but they're all dressed like they would just dress normally. So it's like Halle Berry's wearing like a, sexy model woman outfit, and then like Ian McKellen is wearing like just a suit, and then like they're all just like dressed. It's like, where are they going? Because they all are dressed completely different, and it's hilarious.
What would I Google for that?
uh I mean, I've just seen it on Twitter, but it's just like X-Men movie party weird dress. I don't know,
All right.
but yeah, no, it's pretty funny because yeah, they all just look completely out of place. But last thing, rumor is Sony is working on Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Tom Hardy's villain as Venom as the villain. It's going to take place right after No Way Home. I think this is like the least likely one to happen, but seeing Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man again against a Venom symbiote would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I I could see that kind of happening though, right? I mean, the way there's that stupid post-credit scene featuring him. Was that at the end of the last Spider-Man movie? So maybe they are just gonna bring it in.
I mean, they could try, but it just, I don't know, it just doesn't work in my brain. Okay, did you find the picture? Because I did.
No, I didn't find it.
All right. So I just sent you the link because I should just send you the other. But yeah, it's not as funny as I had in my head. But yeah, Halle Berry's just wearing a bikini, and then like Ian McKellen's wearing like this really fabulous suit, and then like the Patrick Stewart's just wearing like normal clothes, and so is Hugh Jackman, and it's just like, what are they doing?
Yeah, why? Why is Halle Berry just wearing a bikini?
Well, when you look like her, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fair. Man, Hugh Jackman looks so young in that photo too.
I know it. It's one of those things where we saw Hugh enough just over time where it's like, oh, he doesn't age. And then like when you actually look at younger pictures, you're like, oh wow, he actually did. I'm surprised.
Man, I'll say, did you watch Logan?
Hmm.
Did you like that movie?
I thought it was okay.
And I've had like a hankering to watch it again because I think it was, I remember really really liking it. I know that we talked about it before about wishing Alpha Flight were in it, but other than that, I think that was a pretty great one.
Yeah, it's like I think it's perfectly fine. It's like the first time where Hugh was like actually Wolverine-ish in outside of like there's like a few spots in like X-Men 2 where he was like actually doing some stuff, but still it was like, boy, this is like Wolverine light. Like this is like great value Wolverine right here in X-Men 2, and this one's like a little bit better. But
Now you say
that
the first, but you forget his cameo in First Class or whichever one it
that's
is.
true. Yeah. That that was still the best of those prequel X-Men movies.
Yeah, it was. I if you don't expect it to be like the comic, I think Days of Future Past is still an enjoyable watch.
It's fun, but it's like most of the stuff that was like with the main characters, I was kind of bored by. It's like I'm more interested in seeing the cool fights in the future.
Like
It's like,
Warpath and Blink and those.
yeah, like that
Yeah.
stuff was so cool. And then they're like, we go to the main timeline, and it's like, wow, you got some of the least charismatic people you could cast in this movie, huh? Okay.
You say that like Jennifer Lawrence wasn't amazing.
It's like Jennifer Lawrence, the girl that plays Jean, just I'm just like, boy, Is there like some paint drawing that I could watch?
Oh man. All right. Well, there's the rumor mill. Anything else?
Nope, that's the news for the week.
Okay. You guys should let us know what you think about some of those rumors. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they'll happen?
Was your first sexual awakening also the Flintstones movie?
We're very interested to know.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. We are going to take our ad break now, and we'll be back to review the comics we read this week. So we'll be right back.
Okay, so I have two Star Wars questions. One's more of an opinion question, so we can start with that one, and the other one's like fact based, something I've never understood since they were introduced. So, which would you prefer? Would you want the opinion, like, battle question, or would you want the one that's like you might not have an answer for it?
Oh, let's do my opinion first.
Okay, so I watched a video on Count Dooku, like how good of a swordsman he was. And then also I already know he was a powerful Jedi. So would Count Dooku, with his abilities as a Jedi, which was very good, and his abilities as a Jedi, swordsman or whatever, would that be able to beat Mace? Because Mace was a very powerful Jedi, but you've told me how good of a lightsaber guy he was. You know,
I That's a great question. And I know that there are people, I know for a fact that Preston will text me about this because Preston is a massive Star Wars fan, and I'm interested to hear Preston's opinion. I think Mace wins, and I'll explain why. Mace was so good. I mean, this is how they worked it in the canon, right? Mace was so good that he got his own lightsaber color.
mm-hmm.
Mace was also either the only one or one of very few that used his specific lightsaber stance, like his fighting style. The only reason like Mace dies essentially is because he didn't expect a betrayal from Anakin while he was fighting the Lord of the Sith, right?
Yeah.
Dooku essentially loses to Anakin. And I just I think with all that separate stuff happening, looking at all of that, I think that Mace would be the better fighter.
One question though, because like in the video I saw, so this is like, I saw a YouTube video, so that's what made me think about this. So, but like Count Dooku, one of his special like things that made him more special about stuff was like his sword was made a certain, his lightsaber was made a certain way that was supposed to make basically it just more difficult to defend. So don't you think that would add, with already being exceptionally talented at the whole, lightsaber stuff, adding to that would, then like if he's straight up a lightsaber duel with Mace, that could actually bother him, or do you think it wouldn't be a big deal?
It's hard to say because where I think Dooku excelled in defense, Mace was said to excel in offense. So it's one of those things where it's like we would just kind of have to see.
I gotcha.
But like I think if Mace, who essentially got the best of Palpatine, you know, Palpatine was ahead of Dooku. It's just one of those things where like
But also really quick, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but with that whole Palpatine fight, wasn't a lot of that fight also just to kind of further push Anakin towards the dark side?
I think out of desperation it became that. But
Oh, okay.
I think that if Palpatine could have just put Mace down, he would have done so. But it
I
got to
gotcha.
that point where he was like, "Oh man, Mace has got me.
Which is
Anakin's
one of the
here."
funniest damn scenes in all of Star Wars.
I know. Yeah, and I'm sure I brought this up to you, but for anyone listening, next time you watch that scene where Anakin jumps in and Mace flies out the window, Palpatine leans back and audibly goes, "Ah." And it's the funniest thing that you'll think of every single time you watch it. It's hilarious.
Okay, and then question two, and you might not know because these guys are like, I'm pretty sure relatively new to the canon, but in Star Wars Rebels, and then also now in Obi-Wan, they have those people that are hunting the Jedi. They're like, they got the lightsabers and they're force sensitive and they're supposed to be kind of Sith, but they're not Sith.
The Inquisitors.
Yeah, the Inquisitors. So what's their deal and how does that work?
So, short answer, I don't know.
Okay.
Um, I've seen a couple seasons of Rebels. I've not seen all of Rebels, and also I'm not sure what came first, them being in Rebels or them being in the Vader comic, because I know that they have like a first appearance in canon comics. So
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that. I just know that uh in between the two trilogies, they were the big deal. So, it's one of those things where no matter what, like think of Nazis, right? There's neo-Nazis or whatever. They were just neo-Sith.
But what I don't get though is like they always say, because like this is one of the things that always bothers me with Knights of the Old Republic, is like there can only be two Sith at a time. Like that's like a big thing that like in the prequels and stuff that they would always say. So it's like we got these guys now, and they're like, they're gonna they're gonna be good guys for me. They're gonna help me. They're not gonna end up killing me. Don't worry about it.
But see, the only reason there can only be a master and apprentice, that was the doing of one specific Sith Lord
Oh, okay.
who got paranoid that everybody was going to kill him and take his power, that he was like, no, there can only be one, took out all of his competition, and then eventually was killed by his apprentice because that's what the Sith do.
I
At one
gotcha.
point, there were lots of Sith Lords.
Yeah.
Um, so, maybe the Inquisitors were just like, we need to get back to that point and we'll be more powerful. And we're trying to do that. They just obviously didn't get to.
Yeah.
So that's my theory on it.
So, and I mean, they'd be similar to like the Knights of Ren, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think so. Just it's tough to say because we didn't get shit with the Knights of Ren
Yeah.
because those movies were terrible and didn't explore anything.
So it happens
Um,
when you have two different people making movies.
I know, right? I think that in one of the comics now, they really explored the Knights of Ren. So maybe there will be an answer to that that's canon. But it's one of those things where I think the Inquisitors were just around longer and we knew their deal more. Where the Knights of Ren, they were in two movies for 30 seconds total, and we have no idea.
I gotcha. All right.
That was fun though. I like talking Star Wars.
I know. And I was like, these are two things where I'm like, Jake might have answers to these. I know he'll have an opinion on the Mason Count Dooku one for sure. But,
So, well, let me ask you then, having watched that video, did they give an answer, and was it compelling enough for you to believe it?
well, they literally like in that little clip, it was just talking about Count Dooku and all the different things. And so I actually Googled who would win, like basically, and like I guess it happened in the comics. It was very much just like a stalemate where like stuff happened and they went their separate ways type of thing. So it's like, oh yeah, undecided.
That must have been a Dark Horse comic, right?
More, I don't know. It didn't. They didn't say. They just said, oh, this happened in this comic.
Man, that'd be fun. That's definitely something I'd want to see.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think it would have happened in the Clone Wars TV show at some point, since they kind of do a lot of fan service in that show.
Right. Well, and maybe it did. I mean, I'd like to think that I would remember something like that, but there's so much to that show, and I watched
Yeah.
it a very long time ago that I really don't remember.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Welcome back. If you'd like to hear us talk specifically about Star Wars, um, that's exactly what we do on our YouTube break. So head over to our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube, where Casey asks me an opinion about a certain fight, a who would win sort of thing. and then we get into some canon stuff too.
And then if you would like for us to, go over to your house and act out how we think said fight would go, all you have to do is leave a comment down below our favorite colors. It has to be the correct colors, though.
I got pretty nervous there for a second. All right, man. What did you read this week?
Okay, I read Power Rangers number 22, A Town Called Terror number 5, Ghostrider Vengeance Forever number 1, Green Lantern Dark Crisis Worlds Without a Justice League Green Lantern number 1, Jurassic League 4 of 6, and Batgirls 9. What about you?
I read Batgirls 9, Wonder Woman 790, Starhenge number 2, Jurassic League number 4, Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor number 3. And then from last week, I read Twig number 4 and Demon Wars number 1.
Ooh, you got a big week, man.
I
Figured you'd be too
did.
busy to be reading.
Well, I read it all today. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
um
I'll let you go first because you got a good bit more than me.
yeah, I'll do the two from last week really quick. Demon Wars number 1, The Iron Samurai. It's written and the art is done by Peach Momoko. It was really good. I mean, you guys know I liked that last one that she did about the X-Men, Demon Days, I think it was called. And this one's good too, except this is her take on Civil War. So art's good. I like the mythology around it. The creatures are cool. The character designs are fantastic. And I really love the scenes where it's just Mariko like doing the day-to-day stuff because it's just so like manga-esque with the shades of pink and the
Yeah,
black and white. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
that is nice.
So yeah, huge fan of this. I loved it. 9 out of 10 for that. And then real quick, to Twig number 4, Casey was right. This was amazing. I think this was the best one yet.
Which
Um,
is like a huge compliment because we've loved every issue of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this was just extraordinary. I like the little dude in the box. I like that they became friends with this horned beast and how just wholesome he is. And if anything happens to him, I'm gonna be inconsolable. um,
They're gonna kill him off the same week they killed Gus off in Saga.
oh, dude, I we'll have to stop the podcast. I'll be admitted. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this is gonna wrap up. But loved it. That one gets a 10 out of 10.
I'm glad you were like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I hated that issue.
How could you, man? How could
I
you hate
know
that book?
it was just a yeah. I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, and they become friends with the horn beast, and then you'd be like, oh, I guess they don't kill him. Okay.
Right. Well, dude, and you don't even know at the beginning of this because they still
Yeah.
play into it. So, all right. And then, so you didn't get Starhenge?
No.
Okay. So Starhenge, it's by Liam Sharp. Um, again, I can't really tell you what's happening because I don't know. It's a lot of back and forth between that guy and that gal, and then Merlin and stuff like that. So all I can tell you is that I like it. They really incorporate some mythology stuff, like how certain things were made in the UK and whatnot. So I really appreciate that, and just how he draws like trolls and stuff like that is super cool. So I'm still digging this. I trust that it will all come together and I'll know exactly what I'm reading at some point. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Right on. Okay, so Power Rangers 22 by Ryan Parrott and Marco Renna. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the last time I'm picking this up because I think I've said this before too, but boy, this was not a fan. Just did not have a good time reading it. I was just kind of bored trying to read it. And yeah, it just I don't know. Wasn't doing it for me at all. Didn't care about the characters. The art in it's really good. I'll give it that. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Like I know Ryan Parrott's a good writer, so like I'm still gonna pick up the Power Rangers and Turtles crossover, but like with this also being like really like kind of trying to do like hard sci-fi stuff with the Power Rangers, it's just like the amount of carrying that I can do, it's just not enough.
Well,
So I'm
I
just
mean, what is it about that? Because honestly, hard sci-fi featuring the Power Rangers sounds fun.
I don't know, I just can't get into it. Like it's just like the characters aren't really doing it for me. The story itself's not doing it for me at all. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, cool, you know. So
Okay. All right. I'll talk about Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor, number 3. It's written by Torrin Grönbeck and art by Michael Dowling. And this is fun. It's just Jane in limbo fighting Sim. And the only part that bugs me is that they bring back um Underyarn, which is Jane's weapon that just transforms into whatever the heck she needs it to be, which is such a cop out. So it turns into like Magic's sword, essentially, like one of them, not the big like guts looking sword, but a
yeah,
smaller one. But it's so cool to see her like dual wielding that and Mjolnir to fight Sim. Uh, so it's just back and forth between that and then the assault on Asgard. So I'm really curious just what all Enchantress is doing here and what's going on with Thor. So uh yeah, I'm digging it. I just don't like the Deus Ex Machina that's thrown in there at random points, but I'm still gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
right on, man. Is she written better this time than she was, with Jason Aaron?
Yeah, like I and who's to say, but I think that that last Jane Foster and the Valkyries book that I like raved about, I think Jason Aaron was just kind of like an idea man and Groenbeck actually wrote it because this
Yeah,
reads the same way, but his name isn't on it.
I
So
gotcha.
I think that this person really writes Jane well. It's just a shame that she has to use that stupid weapon.
Yeah. All right. So next up, it's a town called Terror by Steve Niles and Seisman Kudransky. And again, this art's crazy. The story's pretty cool. Like it's just such a quick read. Some revelations are made about the character. There's a fight that happens. I mean, I'm digging it. This is a neat book. The art in it, like I said, is just really out there. I liked it. It's still not my nothing about it really kind of like makes me go like, oh my god, you guys need to read this. But like I'm hooked good enough. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice. Glad that you like it. Is that the last issue?
I don't think so. I think it's got at least one more
Okay,
because the
right
way
on.
it ended. It'd be weird if it ended how it ends.
Fair enough. Um, okay, Wonder Woman 790. It's written by Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan with art by Emanuela Lupacino, Jose Luis, and Eduardo Pansica, all on the pencils. And this was pretty good. Wonder Woman finds out where Dr. Psycho is, and she goes there to confront him and uh, essentially saves the day. But then at the end, we see that his weird. You remember me telling you how it was showing commercials of him and like some new milk product.
Vaguely, yeah.
It ends with like a couple of shadowy figures in a milk like filtration plant praising Hera. So clearly there's going to be some like Greek influence with this milk product. So I am very curious what's happening there. Um, and then at the end, Diana shows up in like a not like a new costume, but she just kind of looks like Laura Croft and is like, for this next operation, you can call me Diana Prince. So we'll see what happens there. I like it though. Really good stuff. I know I've given a lot of eights, but I'm at an eight with it.
Right on. It did they take like a month off or something? Because like I don't remember last month you talking about it last month.
I don't know. I know I read the last issue. I just don't
Yeah.
remember when that happened.
All right. Well, Ghostrider Vengeance Forever. And this is by Benjamin Percy and Juan Jose Rip on the art. And so, yeah, this is like not connected at all to the main thing. It's just kind of like Johnny Blaze goes to this guy, he's a seer, and he's going to give him a tattoo. And basically, while he's doing it, it's just showing the different lives of the different Ghost Riders. Pretty cool. You know, some of the different stories. The only downside is like there's like this one Danny Ketch story that's pretty sweet. Danny Ketch also has the coolest motorbike out of all the Ghost Riders. But then like it jumps to like this story where it's got Vengeance and um Morbius and Blade about to fight Dracula, and then it just cuts to um the newest Ghost Rider, blank on his name, just fighting this other guy. Like it doesn't even like really show an ending, doesn't like cut to it, and then like even like he knocks over the train, then it just cuts to 2099 Ghost Rider. Like it had way too many cut takes basically for each of them, and that kind of ruined it. Like each one of these kind of deserved like at least one more page, maybe, or maybe a better ending. Like I mean, even like this the seer talking in between them better because like I you turn the page and it's just like, oh, here's this next one instead of all the other ones before that were having the seer then talking, oh, you have this connection to this one too, blah blah blah. It just that really kind of was jarring at times. It's like, wait, what did I miss? Yeah, I had to like double check and make sure like the pages weren't sticking together.
Yeah, that
But
sounds awful.
I mean, it's like it didn't happen for every part because like the first one was like a Wild West one, and that one was like fine, and then the Danny Ketch one was cool, and then it cuts to the next one, which is the Morbius, Vengeance, and Blade one, and then it goes straight to Car Ghost Rider, and then it goes 2099 Ghost Rider, and there's nothing to tell you that it's going to a new story. It's just like they kind of ran out. They're like, oh shoot, how many pages do we get for this book? Oh no, that is that type of thing.
Right.
But other than that, I still like it. Benjamin Percy's really kind of killing it with Ghost Rider, so I'm all about it. I just want justice for vengeance. Give us more vengeance. But but
So I mean, you were liking his Wolverine a pretty good bit there too.
yeah,
So
it's one of those things where I don't even remember why I stopped reading the Wolverine because I liked it. I think I just forgot and then didn't care, and that's why I stopped.
well, I mean, also they do freaking tie-in issues to
Oh,
shit all the time. So
that was probably it actually, because I'm just like I can't stand that crap. But yeah, so this is like an 8.5. It's perfectly fine. If it wasn't for those moments, it'd probably be a 10. Like I said, I'm loving this Ghost Rider series. It's just a blast, and the art in it's super cool.
nice. Uh, yeah, I've got Jurassic League and Batgirls
Oh
left.
shoot. Okay, so we did not do this well. But next up, it's going to be my Dark Crisis Worlds Without Justice League, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl. And this is by I'm gonna get all the names, but I know it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with Fernando Blanco on the art, and it's very heavy on the John Stewart. And he, as I tweeted, he just gets characters. He really gets John Stewart. He doesn't make John Stewart just the simple soldier like they do a lot of the time because it's like that's the easy way of writing John, but I don't think it's the correct way. They make John more, he makes John more complex, more of it, an architect, and that's like the more of the focus and stuff. And I really like it and like this story, like pretty much everything about it. The one thing that I will say, and you're going to get a little bit of Farmer Casey sass here. So he's supposed to be putting up a fence for his mom to keep the rabbits out. Now, this fence that he's putting up, I don't have cattle, but this is a cow fence. You're not going to keep any rabbits out with big posts unless the rabbits are the size of cows. They're getting in there easy. And then also, I just want to show like the way this fence is going, that's going to go like right into the door on the barn. It's like Fernando Blanco needs to work on his fence setup of his artwork. But other than that, it was really good. Then we get a Hawk Girl story by Jeremy Adams and Jack Herbert on the art. And this was good too. I was actually really curious what you would think about it, because basically she's trying to get rid of all of her past lives, like, so she can, like, if she die, live more. Basically, it's the whole thought process. So she drinks this special stuff that's gonna basically cut off her all, her connection to all her past lives, and she's no longer immortal. And it was pretty cool. Like I said, I was interested in hearing your opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's not gonna stick. It's just like she's doing this type of thing,
right?
But as a whole, this was pretty solid. I'm gonna give it probably a 9.5 out of 10.
All right. See, I was gonna pick it up, but then I saw it wasn't Philip Kennedy Johnson writing Hawk Girl, which is what I thought when I picked, was flipping through it. But all right, are we good? Do you have another one?
Nope, that's it. You just want to do Jurassic League Batgirls, since I'm assuming we like Batgirls more.
Yes, we did. All right, so Jurassic League number 4, and it's written by Juan Gedeon and Daniel Warren Johnson, with art by Juan Gedeon and John McKell. So what do you think of this one?
It was, like we talked about before we got on here, much better than the last issue. The art just was less sloppy, I'd say, for the most part in this one. And we kind of get the big reveal, which I liked, of what the big bad is. And it was more fun than last time too, I thought. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely way better than that last issue, which I was crazy low on. But it's like I was telling Casey off the pod, I'm just not having as much fun with this as I feel I should be.
Yeah,
I don't know if maybe that last issue just like really took me out of it, and these last two, will throw me back in, especially with this big bad reveal. But I don't know. I just feel like every issue it should be like Task Force Z, where I'm like, this is so dumb and hilarious and awesome, and I'm just not getting that.
Yeah, I mean, it peaked at issue 1 for sure.
Yeah,
like it was issue 1. I remember just like so great, and then like every issue since then, it's been like trying to get back to that level and just hasn't quite reached that yet. But this is still perfectly fine to me. So where are you at with it?
probably like a 5.
Yeah, I was thinking about a 6. So I guess that stands. Yeah, that works, since I liked it a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book that we liked more, Batgirls issue 9 by Conrad and Clunan, with gotta find here we go, with Becky Clunan, Michael Conrad, and Neil Goog art. Goog, is that how you say his name?
Goog, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, them on the art. What are your initial thoughts on this, man?
I liked it a good bit, actually.
Same.
The art, I think, is the weakest up to this point between Corona and the other guy, Rodriguez.
Respectfully, I disagree. I thought this art was about perfect for the tone for this book, and I liked it more than Corona's.
I don't disagree that it's not a good tone. And I'm not saying it's bad or that I dislike it. I just don't like it more than those other two.
Yeah.
But I thought this was like an excellent balance between the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not to say that we haven't seen it, but we finally get to see Steph not just be the bubbly one all the time and actually kind of go through it a little bit, which is nice. The only thing that I had a complaint about, so they're fighting KG Beast, and then Oracle hacks his little eyepiece, right?
Yeah.
She shows her face and she's like, "It's me, Oracle, aka Batgirl, aka your worst nightmare." But it's just her face. It's Barbara.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that.
Well, like I have a lot of problems. Like that's my only problem with this whole issue. It's like I liked a lot, but KG Beast should be a bigger deal. I know it's like, oh yeah, two Batgirls fighting him at once, but it's like this guy, like when he first was introduced, like he pushed Batman past his limits, the first time. He was such a big deal that they almost made him Bane before Bane was a thing, for Nightfall, that he was gonna be the guy that broke Batman's back. And then he became a joke for a while. Then of all people, Tom King made him like a thing again. And then now they're like, we're gonna bring it back down to a joke. And so that's like my one letdown in general. Like it shouldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean they play fast and loose with the secret identities in this series, because that one seer knew everything. So it's just like I don't know how much they care about the secret identities of them.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, like, because that happens, it's like not the biggest deal. It's not like that brings this book down multiple grades. It's just like, dude, if he had any idea who Barbara Gordon was, he'd be like, oh, Barbara is Oracle. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
go, kill Commissioner Gordon or something like that.
yeah.
But anyway, other than that, I really did like it. This really, dude, I don't know about you. And I mean this in the best way possible. This art and the feel of this book is like a 90s comic to me. This is like
Mm-hmm.
90s Bat Family stuff.
Like like I'd say late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good. I like it. I'm excited for more,
Yeah.
especially after
Like I had a
we
blast.
see who they're gonna fight next.
Yeah, I had a blast reading it. It was just like I said, a little disappointed with just the jobbing out of KG Beast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, it's a couple years away from that being the same thing happened to Deathstroke, I bet.
Yeah, for sure, man.
It's like soon we're gonna have him losing a Talia al Ghul or something. So, but yeah. So I mean, other than that, really liked it. I'm probably at a 9 because, I think it would have been a perfect book if they would have got someone that's in my opinion, a tier below KG Beast to fight. Like if it was like Killer Croc, the two of them beating up on Killer Croc.
Yeah, I would have said Electrocutioner,
Yeah, but
but I am also at a 9, and it is my pick of the week.
right on, man.
What
So
was
where are
your
you?
pick of the week?
Mine would have been the Green Lantern book.
Oh, okay, cool.
Outside of them just not knowing how fences work.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So what are you excited for this coming week?
That's a pretty good question. I will say New Mutants for sure. Triskel number 3, and probably World's Finest.
Right on. So I'm gonna go with Flash, Hulk, and then just because I'm trying to mix stuff up because there's like books that I'm actually probably more excited about, but Ultraman Mystery of Ultra 7. I'm gonna actually try to watch because I have it on DVD some Ultra 7 before I read it. So we'll see if I actually get to that, but it'd be cool if I
Nice.
do. But so I didn't write the Fantastic Four down this week because I'm like, I want it to be a sweet, sweet surprise for my sweet, sweet Jakey boy. So when I was over at your place this week, or this weekend, I saw your guys's mountain. And for the listeners, it's pretty darn close to a mountain of board games. So let's keep the 4 number going. So like you, me, and then 2 of our random listeners that you can just randomly pick out in your brain are all hanging out, and you can have to choose 4 board games for the 4 of us to play for a fun board game night. What would be your 4 choices?
Okay. Uh, well, I'll start with like my two favorite board games ever. It's gonna be The Dark Tower and Risk.
Okay.
And Casey and I have played our fair share of Risk together over the years too.
Even
Um,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Risk one time. That was
yes.
just a terrible decision.
So yeah, real quick, we played what was named Riskio, where to claim or battle for a territory, you had to play a full round of Yu-Gi-Oh. It took forever.
Yeah, it was a long, long time.
um, I'm also gonna pick the Labyrinth board game based on the movie. It is crazy fun, and if you're a Labyrinth fan, probably better for you than someone that's not a Labyrinth fan.
And you even had like an expansion for that, didn't you?
I sure did.
That's what I thought it looked like.
And then uh I'm gonna go with one that I deem all reliable, which is Ticket to Ride.
Okay. I played that on my phone when I was in college.
It's a great game.
Right on.
What about you, man?
I mean, I don't have the board game cred you do, so it's like Risk, that horror movie game, like I think it's called Slasher or something. That's a fun one. Um this Frankenstein game from when I was a child. Godzilla Monopoly.
How does that even work?
I mean, it's Monopoly with like Godzilla themed stuff. I've not opened it up. I got it for Christmas, but it's like it. I mean, it's Monopoly, but Godzilla.
That was three.
Godzilla Monopoly, the Frankenstein game, the horror movie game,
Oh,
and
okay.
Risk.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Well, I think that's the end of the episode.
It is.
All right, guys. Well, closing plugs. If you would, please go to facebook.com/Two Worlds Podcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram where I post pretty comic book covers at what is that? Just 2worlds_PC or Two
I
Worlds
don't know.
Pod? I
I
forget what
don't
it
know the
is.
tags.
Yeah. Oh no, it's at Two Worlds Pod. That's the one. You can also email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, go to our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to the channel.
Tell us on the YouTube comments what board games you'd want to play with us.
Yeah.
And hey, if they're good choices and you donate $500 to our own maze, and you win the drawing, maybe we'll play with you.
Maybe.
But hey, we'd love to stay in chat, but we've got to go meet Frankenstein and the Mummy and the Invisible Man and Dracula. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Who's on first?